Greetings all, my name is Dario Karanovic, candidate code FMV446 and session number 003951-0006. Once again, candidate code FMV446, session number 003951-0006. Now, the first thing I'd like to do is introduce my project. Now, what I had done is created a promotional video for my dentist. She needed the video to help promote her dentistry and educate her patients on proper oral hygiene. Now, let's begin. The basic techniques I had used were watermarks, the use of headers, tables, combining text and graphics. I have more than 6 slides for the presentation and combining 2 software applications. The complex techniques I had used were edited original sound, proficient integration of the different elements of multimedia, manipulated graphics, integration of components using advanced features from other applications. Now, the first thing I had done for the basic techniques was I had created a watermark. Now, I used the website www.watermark.ws, and the reason I had used this website was because it's very efficient and it's very, very convenient. Now, I really liked using it because I could easily save my watermark as a template rather than having to remake it over and over and over again. Now, the first thing I had done in this picture to create the watermark was, as you can see, this is the menu here. So I went to text and, oh, there it goes, pops it up. So then I type in my text, Pembroke Dentistry. There we go. So then I change my font and I'd move it to wherever I wanted to go on the screen. I didn't change the size or didn't rotate it at all, mainly because I didn't want it to have too much attention and I didn't want it to be the focal point of the picture. I want people to focus on the picture. So afterwards I just apply and it's saved as a watermark. I could save it as a template and I could use it over and over again. So done, and then it's saved. So then I could afterwards download it and put it as a PNG or JPEG file, and as you can see here, it's actually JPEG right there. So the next thing I did was I used headers. Now I created headers to separate certain parts of the video, and the reason was because my dentist actually, or my client actually wanted to show the patients the different parts rather than having to have it all mushed together and then having them figure out what's what. Now I simply created them by inserting a caption, and then I type in what I want, and then as you can see, it's right there. For example, hours of operation, and then it would just show this slide, then it'd show the hours of operation. Afterwards, I would go on to the next part, and then I'd add facts and info, and then it'd continue, and etc. Now, another thing I had used were tables. As you can see here, I simply created the table by going to Word and making my own table, inserting the text, etc. I would then crop it or do whatever I needed to, but the main thing was, so I would print the screen to take a screenshot, and then I would go to the Paint application, and as you can see, I had already put it here. And what I want was, so for example, I wanted it to be cropped. Now I would take this entire piece and I would have it cropped, and there we go, it is separated from everything else. Afterwards, I would save it as a PNG or JPEG, and then I would reopen it and I would add it through here. I would press the add videos and photos, and then I would simply go to the picture file name. So, and there you go. Afterwards, what I had done afterwards was combining the text and graphics. I did this simply. I did this quite simply actually. All I did was, so for example, if I want the picture and the text to merge, I took the caption, I created it, and then I would put on a different slide a picture. Afterwards, I would go to the text tools and the text duration over here, and I would extend the length of the text, how long it's going to stay. And as you can see here, it would keep going until the picture would pop up. And there you have it. So another basic technique I had used was combining two software applications. I had simply done this by using the Movie Maker application and the Audacity software application. Now, I had used more than 6 slides for the presentation. As you can see down here, I have 92 slides. The main reason I have this amount of slides is because my dentist gave me an overwhelming amount of information, so I had to try and break it down and give bullet points, as you can see here, so the patient can be on the go rather than having to just sit there and fall asleep by so much information. Now, the complex techniques I had used were edit original sound. Now that's the first one I had done, and as you can see here, these are just the wave formats showing beats and rhythms. Now what I had done I first inserted the audio. I went to import, and then I just go to audio, and I'd select my certain file afterwards. So I selected 2 songs. I used both of them are from Mozart, Ein kleine Nachtmusik, and Alla Turca. The first thing I had done was delay the amount of time one song would be played. So for example, I would go down here. So I use this by pressing the time shift tool, and then I just separate them, however. And afterwards, I wanted to speed up the songs because I found them just a little too slow. I wanted them to be a little bit quicker. So I went to playback speed, and then I would either speed it up, slow it down, etc. And the final thing I had done to the music was fade it out. As you can see, the wave just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I did this simply by going to Effect, and I could have either 2 options, fade out or studio fade out. Now I could use either or, they're pretty much the same thing, but I decided to use fade out simply just because it doesn't really matter which one. So yeah. Afterwards, the manipulated graphics I had used were simply created by either going to the crop feature, cropping it, or even in my watermark part, there's a part where I could, as I showed you previously, I could easily, for example, let's go there. Here we go. I could adjust it and I could crop it, and I could simply make the picture however I wanted it to be. There we go. So another complex technique I had used was the proficient integration of the different elements of multimedia. Now, I had shown this through what I had shown you through the use of making the tables, the text, and the graphics that I had created, and the integration of components using advanced features from other apps or applications were showed through the use of Audacity. Like I said earlier, I faded it out using the studio fade out. I would shift it using, or delay the time through one song and the other using the time shift tool, and then sped it up using the playback speed. So yeah, that's it. I would like to thank you for listening to this presentation, and goodbye.